I'm ready. All right, so I very lightly put down my head shape, and now I'm putting down, notice the neck shape and the elongation. What you want to say is, what are the things that I want to emphasize in my head? What am I going to say? Well, she's got a very nice neckline here, and I'm going to bring that neckline into my drawing, and might have to raise it up a little bit because she's losing the neckline. And I start to block in the eye line halfway from top of the head to chin, the nose line halfway from the eye line to the chin, the mouth line 1/3 down from the nose. Okay? Hairline is 1/3 from the top of the head. If I divide this to the eyes into thirds, it's the top third. Right? Okay, so you start to want to know this automatically. Think about it automatically. All right. Now we start to place. You can put in the lines here if you need them for the eye, to place the eye halfway into each sphere. And if you don't need them, just do it by eye. As you go, you want to start to trust your eye to do more and more. And here, I'm going to think about, she's got very blonde hair. She's got very pale skin. She's got smoky eyes. Her lips are on the lighter side rather than the darker side. So you'll start to notice with the makeup that the makeup generally, when the lips are darker, the eyes are paler. When the lips are lighter, the eyes have more makeup and emphasis. So you'll see that. Okay. Now I'm ready for my face. So I'm starting to put in the cheekbone. I'm going to add a little bit of the nose configuration and the lips. And if you have to move a line, if you feel, oh, I think that line was too high, so erase it. That's what erasers are for. You know? Everybody draws differently at different times. Try not to outline the lips too harshly because there'll be a color eventually, and the color will hold the shape. So you won't need too much. And if you outline this harshly, it's going to smush in with the color and make it muddy. So you don't want to do that. Okay, now I have my feature placement. I'm going to put in the cheekbone, the jaw, around where the mouth curves around the head, and the chin. And sometimes I have to adjust the chin. Sometimes, it happens to me all the time, I have to either make it shorter or longer. Just doesn't quite, it's not perfect the first hit, you know? You just have to work it out. And notice her cheekbones are very prominent in my model. So I want to emphasize that as well. And her ears are showing, so I will put in the ear shape, the ear shape. And notice the hair. The hair, it's going to be all about shape. Very tight on one side, very kind of tousled, I just got out of bed look, right? And notice where the hair is going to kiss the eyebrow or kiss the top of the lashes, so it's going to be quite low. Now remember, I once said that when you're drawing, 90% of the drawing is the model, and 10% is your artistic license as a designer. So if I wanted to, say, add an earring to this, or change the hair and put in a big bow or something like that, or interesting earring, I can do that. That's my artistic license. But I'm not changing who this is necessarily, right? All right. Now that I have that done, I'm really ready to color this. So using tracing paper underneath so it doesn't bleed through my marker pad, and using a testing sheet, and you should always take out a piece of the paper you'll be rendering on, because every paper tests differently. This skin tone, which is called pale flesh, is an excellent skin tone for this kind of a look. The other colors that I like, that I think work well together, this is light flesh, not the flesh that looks like bludgeon seal, but light flesh. This is buff, and this is very good for an Asian skin tone. Excellent. And sand is very good for everything, from a tan to a darker skin tone. Okay, so this has a very nice. So these are very good basic colors that you might want to buy. Okay, so I'm using my I'm going right through the eyes. Don't try to go around the eyes. It's a disaster. Now this can be done also on the back of the paper as well. And try not to rest your marker. This is a very light hand, by the way. Something is going on here.
That happens.
See, the thing is not to get hysterical when that happened. Because I knew that the moisture of the marker was gathering underneath, so I pulled it away, and then it was okay. Okay. All righty. Now we turn this to, let's see if it's, I got it. I lost my Naples yellow. Because she has such a pale hair color, I'm going to use this color called Naples yellow. Yeah? Now, hair generally has 3 values. That's all we can read. It has the color of the hair, the highlight of the hair, the shadow of the hair. That's all you can read, unless you're oil painting and you're doing 1,000 different values. So I'm adding this in and leaving out some of the color to create the natural highlights in the hair. And you can use the tip of this, see? You can use the broad tip of this. This only has one tip. So you can get a medium line, but you have to kind of move it in your hand in order to get that, all right? So think about that. So once you get your color basically on here, you're ready to shadow. I don't like to finish one thing at once. I like to do a build-up of the drawing first, and I like to outline. Let's put this over here. Like to outline last. So this part is the fun part. Okay, so in this set, and you could always get an extra package of these eye makeup in CVS or Duane Reade or whatever. And you'll find that they're very good. So I'm going to start with a smoky eye. If I want to, I can get a little wild, maybe add a little bluish to it. Whatever, right? Okay. Sometimes these start to break apart, and you have to now the interesting thing is, if you make a mistake with this, it's okay, because you can erase it. All right, so let's start off with that. Now, because she's so pale, I feel like I want to outline with a 90% cool gray instead of black, okay, because of that feel. So I'm going to do that, and if you do lashes, of course, sometimes you can do lashes where you go like this, you know? But the idea is to try not to do this like the House of the Rising Sun, like this. But there are certain things, like when you're doing junior or tween, where they're young figures, that can look very good stylized, but it doesn't look good on a woman, you know, who's sophisticated. So it strongly depends on what you're doing. So this is a build-up technique, and I see that she has some lashes. There. See how this is starting to develop? So I'm thinking I center my eye, I center this part. So this is going to supplement the makeup. And I don't see hardly any brows. So brows are not part of who she is. So I don't have to squeeze in the brows because it's not an issue here, right? Okay, so okay, and once you get started with this, you go wild because you keep like, you can't stop. It's like, it becomes an obsession. Okay. Okay, so be careful that you don't pick that up for the rest of the shadowing. Now, there's certain colors which are very good for shadowing. There's a beautiful pencil, and there's some very beautiful pencils that are great for shadowing the skin as well as makeup, so you might want to explore. There's a color called Antique Rose, which is very, very good. Okay, so let me just see. And the cheekbone is curved. See how it curves? Curve, like it's not like this, okay? So where are you going to get the shadow? You see along the side of the nose. So I'm going to get the shadow. It'll pick up a little of the black. That's good. And I'm going to get the shadow along here. Just touch the nostril, a drop. Okay. Where else do I see shadow? A little under the chin. Okay. So I don't want to create all this shadow. It's going to look like she needs a shave. So I have to be careful with that. So I'm going to be putting in a little bit of the clavicle. And I might want to just add a little paste there. Okay. Now, pale lips are good. Can go that pale. It could be this kind of pale. But you want to put the lipstick in. It's easier to do it with the pencil than it is with a marker. And it's less harsh as well. And you'll notice that the lips will appear darker on the top, light on the bottom, because the light hits the bottom. There. And I can also put in I want to put in an eye color, and here's the eye. I'm running the eye color this way. Don't fill it in. And it starts to look very starey, you know, scary. So notice I'm leaving almost like a highlight on the bottom of the lip, which you can also add to it by adding a little bit of white pencil to that, okay? And then when you finish your lips, okay? So now I'm up to giving the face a little more of a shape. And as I'm outlining, I'm not building a fence around the figure. You know what that means? Not making it all the way, tracing a line around the figure. I'm pressing down, letting up. Pressing down, letting up. And some hair has a little bit of shadow, like in a piece of hair, you'll find, here's a strand of hair, you'll find as it goes into the root, it's dark here, then it kind of gets lighter here, and then as it goes toward the tip, and then you see like a couple of, right? So this is why I want you to be sensitive to the piece that you're looking at, and don't just like approximate it, you know what I mean? Like this, you know. You have to be thinking about it. Now, as I'm going through this, see, I can't get these eyes black enough. I want them to be so black. So sometimes, like if this is going to screw it up, but that's all right. See? I knew that was going to happen. But then I have a pencil, an eraser, that's older than you are. You know what this was used for, this pencil? They'll never know. This was a typewriter eraser. You know what a typewriter is? Right?